Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. This show actually kind of came out. I just went on a quick walk on, taking a break, getting away from work. And I realized that this kind of dawned on me. It's something that's happened in my life. I'm going to give kind of an example of where it came from, where the thought came from. And then I'm going to kind of break it into a couple scenarios in our lives that I want us to kind of pay attention to. Now, this is twofold. This is one, something to pay attention to. But on top of that, this is kind of a technique unto itself. And that was the part that sort of hit me after the effect. It's like, actually, you could probably use these same principles when you manifest, when you're doing your imaginal work, when you're imagining from and all those different things. This will actually play a huge role in the success of your manifestation. So this is going to come out, I'm calling it manifestation, creation, whatever people are calling it. I know there's better terms, worse terms, depends on who you are. But the concept is, one, are we really truly accepting our manifestation? So think about the thing that it is that you're trying to create in your life, whatever it is. Maybe it's a new job, maybe it's your specific person, maybe there's just, you want love in general, maybe it's more income, whatever the case is. There's aspects to it that you would like to see, right? You've got your like physical things. So maybe if you're just a specific person, you want to see them in your life, you want them attached to your arm, you want to be hanging out with them, right? There's those things. So that's kind of what a lot of us do our imaginal work for, is like being together. But there's implications to our manifestation. There are things that come along with that are part of this process, part of them wanting you. So let me explain where this came from. Let me give that solid example, if you will. And then let me kind of put it in terms of, say, specific person or maybe work-related, maybe money if we have time, right? So where this came from for me, is I've obviously been working on in expanding my life in a lot of ways. Certainly this YouTube has been a big focus of that, just doing the work. I enjoy doing the videos, comes my radio background, right? All those things kind of at play, right? So I enjoy that, but of course the idea of growing the channel, of growing my audience, of affecting more and more people, these are really the whole crux of what I'm trying to do. And it's like I was teaching when I was younger. I had students, it was a person-y-person thing, right? I didn't have like YouTube back in the day. People literally would come to my house and we would talk and, we'd meditate and we'd do whatever, right? A whole slew of different things, right? But all of it came down to kind of that whole working with people and trying to be better with people and trying to be involved in people's lives. So some of the weird stuff that I come from, true. But when it came to kind of, like I said, expanding this channel, it's been an issue of being able to help more and more people, as many people as I can, as many people as universe sees fit, right? Like I've got the message that I'm trying to share. I'm not saying my message is better than anyone else's. I'm not saying it's worse than anyone else's. It's just the message I've got. So there's probably there's an audience for what I'm trying to do. And hopefully my audience appreciates the efforts I'm doing. And from what I understand, most of you seem to, for sure. Hopefully all of you, but I think that's a bit extreme, right? But that being said, the concept of enhancing and growing my channel is really that's the imaginal thing, if you will. Now, what comes with that is the part that really dawned on me today. So, having a channel where you're passing a message that's being received by more and more people means that more and more people are appreciating what you have to say. Great. More and more people actually are asking or inquiring as to what you think or what you say, right? So I'm getting more comments. That's something that kind of comes with this. And sometimes you're like, oh, I'm getting so many comments. And it's like, well, that's part of what you're manifesting. So that's definitely gonna be there. Getting more emails now, a lot more emails now. Again, part of that is part of what you would expect from the channel. So no big surprise there, but again, still things that you need to make sure you're accepting that are gonna be part of this path, part of this journey that you're manifesting. But where it really hit me today was when I realized in my personal life, my work life, I should say, my normal job, I enjoy my normal job, by the way. So I got hired back. I don't get into my story too much, and I don't want to mention the specific company because there's probably reasons I shouldn't. And it's more so them, right? I don't want them to try to take ownership of my channel, frankly. But that being said, the whole concept of me expanding my channel and then, of course, expanding my life, and a lot of that was part of the whole specific person thing and all that stuff, right? So in enhancing my job, I've actually managed to, one, I got hired back at the company I was at. I left them because they closed down our facility. They actually reached out and hired me back at a bit of a premium. And I've actually gotten into a role that is significantly more elevated than I had initially imagined. And in that process, I've got a lot of people that reach out to me for feedback or input on what's going on the projects that I'm involved with. My feedback, because of my knowledge of the business, my knowledge in what I'm involved with, my knowledge of how this all works together, is something that is sought after and something that I'm being paid well to provide. I didn't see that one coming. That is part of what I manifested for my channel as an aspect of me, that I would be having information that other people would want. That is, in and of itself, something that is that's a way to define success for a lot of people. So it's working on my channel. Great. That's awesome. And again, this isn't a pat and Dan on the back thing. It's not like that at all. It was just where the realization came from. But it was with work. I'm finishing. We got Slack, we got email, we got this thing called Jira where we track tickets. We got like all these different sources. People are putting stuff in, and they could put like at Dan or at whatever and actually send you an email or end up sending you some sort of message. And so I'm constantly like going from one thing to the next and just answering questions. That's like a chunk of my day is just answering questions. And that was when it really dawned on me. It's like, this is what you created. This is part of that creation, right? Like I wanted to be these certain things, and I just kept imagining that one certain thing and never really extrapolated it out. Never really thought about, well, how else is this going to impact my life? Now, there's a few sides to this. One, careful what you ask for, right? Two, it's understanding that there are going to be unintended things that come with your manifestation. Some of those unintended things, probably most of those unintended things, are going to be good things. Some of them might be weird, might not be what you had in mind, might be something that you're like, that's not quite what I was thinking. From my standpoint, there's a lot of extra stuff that is required of me, and it's extra work, basically. It's extra effort, and it's added to what I'm here to produce. It certainly caused some sleepless nights or some interesting dreams, to say the very least, and that's part of this process, right? Part of what I'm growing towards and learning towards. So how does this translate to something maybe you're trying to manifest your specific person, for example, right? So a lot of us maybe trying to see a very specific outcome, but then we might catch ourselves asking funny questions like, are they attracted to me? I've had a lot of people say, I'm working on manifesting them back. I know it works. I believe in law of attraction. How can I manifest them thinking about me more? Well, if you're manifesting them back, they are thinking about you more, aren't they? They should be. That's part of what comes with this. So kind of assume that's the case for sure. And this is where I think it becomes a powerful manifestation technique, because in them wanting to be back with you, that's going to imply that they're attracted to you. That's going to imply that they love you. That's going to imply that they would like to spend time with you. That's going to imply that you guys are now able to be together. Maybe there's a distance that separates you. Well, that has to resolve itself. A lot of people have asked questions, what if they're dating somebody now? Well, if they're going to be with you, that obviously gets resolved. And if you want to take it even one step further, there's probably something very powerful about what they're experiencing with this other person that will enhance their feelings back for you. Because they'll realize, my God, so-and-so was so much better than this person. Or this person's great and all, but God, just what I had with this other person was amazing. And so they'll want to get back with you. A lot of us are like, well, I just want to make sure they're thinking of me. Well, if you're manifesting them back, they are thinking of you. Certainly if you're doing thought transmissions and all that stuff too, you're popping into their mind. So a lot of us question all these little things. And what you're really doing when you question the little things is you're questioning the big thing. If the big thing's happening, then the little things are definitely occurring. If you're questioning the little things, but you think the big thing's not something you question, wrong. You're questioning the big thing. That's why you're questioning the little things. So think about it kind of from that angle, right? You're manifesting the big thing. You, quote, believe it, right? You're telling me this. I hear this all the time. Yet then you'll follow up with but do you think they think of me? Or do you think they love me? Or how can I get them to forgive me? Blah, 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 blah. Again, don't worry about the small little things. We've talked about that frequently. Get the major result. Do they still love you? Do they want to be with you? Are you together now? Bam, you got it covered. You got all the little things worked out. Now, again, if there's forgiveness that needs to be found, I've referenced the video a number of times, and I'll reference it again. My astral letter video, I love it. I learned it from my teacher when I was younger. Astral letters are awesome. I recommend you write them with pen and paper, and then you read them aloud, and then you burn them. Now, again, look at the video. It's a pretty short video. It gives you specifics on a couple different approaches. You know, how you would do it to forgive someone else, how you do it to forgive yourself. There's a couple avenues to it in that regard, but the process itself is pretty much the same. You write out what it is, you know, there's I bless, release, and erase the blah-de-blahs for such and such, right? You write it down, you maybe write 2, 3, 4, 5 different versions of it, right? From different angles, maybe one's I forgive you for upsetting me all the time and or whatever, right? Like, and I've got examples that are in that video. From that, you can then create that list, take it, read it out loud, burn it afterwards, and you've done amazing things to help towards forgiveness, for example. But outside of that, if you're manifesting getting back with them, and that's happening, and you believe it, then all these other little things have to work out. They have to, by their very nature. And they're going to occur. You're going to end up manifesting stuff that you didn't realize, like me, for example, having a lot of extra people coming to me for thoughts, my thoughts for that matter, on what what we're doing, what needs to happen, what's a good approach to move forward, how should we do this? Which is wonderful and great. But when you're not expecting it, sometimes it can be overwhelming, right? So again, careful what you wish for. Secondly, when you are manifesting these things, things are going to start to change in your life. Good example, maybe you've been single a while, you're used to having some free time. Well, when you manifest this person into your life, free time is something that's going to be harder to come by. And that can be frustrating for some at first. And what you end up doing is you work on manifesting places where you can create a little bit of special time for yourself or whatever the case is. Again, these are examples of stuff that happens from the actual manifestation that we're creating, and these are little side things that you kind of get along the way. So how does that play out? So we kind of nailed the specific person. Let's just look at work maybe, or even money. We'll kind of lump the two together. But if I'm looking to manifest a better income for myself, a better situation, a better professional life, and we imagine the different company, maybe we imagine the job, maybe we imagine pulling up to the building and all these things. But when you think about what is it that your role is now, what are some of the things that you're going to be dealing with? That's going to come with that. Right? And then, of course, some of the questions where many of us would ask, well, I hope I'm good enough, or let me manifest a sign that would suggest I'm good enough, or let me manifest something that will make sure that my boss has that I've got his attention, that I'm on his mind. Well, if this promotion is something you're manifesting and something that's going to happen, well, then those things have to occur. They have to. There's no way around it. So again, as you succeed in your manifesting, things come with that. We've got to kind of remember that. We've got to step back a little bit from what it is that we're trying to manifest and really look at it from a bigger picture, because you're bringing that all to you. And so a lot of times we talk about being specific in what you're trying to manifest, meaning I'm trying to manifest a relationship with a person or a job, right? And I want to do certain things, and I still want to maybe have some extra time to be able to go to the gym every day, which maybe you'll just manifest a job that has a gym attached to it, right? There's a gym located inside that you're able to get inside and put in some time at the weights. All right. Well, you manifested that. Maybe not quite as you were thinking, but you've manifested that because you were specific. You said, I wanted to keep having those types of things. Or there's maybe specific people that I enjoy working with, or I still get to see my friends from time to time, or I still get to have a similar lunch break, or I'm still in the same vicinity as my best friend that works at company ABC versus me working at company XYZ. But we're a block away, so we can still get together for lunch. Again, these are things that you can put into your manifestation that I would like to make sure that this is still covered within my new area. Or sometimes when you ask those questions, am I good enough? Are they still loving me? Do they forgive me? Am I going to make enough money? Well, yes, of course you will, because that's what you're manifesting. That's what you're creating. Of course you will. Of course that's coming. Now, in the case of money, maybe you don't jump from $20,000 a year to $100,000 a year in one fell swoop. That's kind of rare to do that. It's more challenging because there is an evolution in our consciousness that tends to happen as that expansion occurs. So it's not just receiving more dollars. There's an actual energy that wells up within us that creates that abundance, that creates that additional flow of money that the universe is like, well, no matter what, I got to give you more money. I know you don't need it because you're already making so much of it, but you smell like money, and I want to give you more of it so you continue to smell like money. It's the same concept. So accepting all that comes with our manifestation, accepting that there are certain questions we may have and hope are being worked out. Assume they are. Assume they're going to happen. And understand that you're going to get some extra stuff back from this manifestation. These are things to continue to think about. And again, as a process of trying to manifest, sometimes it's good to look at some of those different components and go, yeah, that's all being taken care of too. I remember when, just to borrow another technique, I remember when she didn't think of me all the time. I remember when I didn't get to see my friend for lunch every day. I remember when I was going to work and I was not happy with the type of work I was doing. I remember when I wasn't able to afford to do anything. Again, these things are coming with that manifestation that you're trying to create. Keep that in mind. And certainly when some of that mind chatter starts to pop up in your head, be like, dude, got that covered. Got that covered. It's already mine. Boom. And once you got that attitude, really, it's hard to fail because you know it's succeeding. And again, I've talked about it. That's the difference. It's that knowing. It's that faith. It's that this is happening. I'm getting that for sure. I will take nothing but yes as an answer. You say no, I say, bah, I'll just ask you again later. You're just not ready to tell me what I want to hear. And that's kind of how you just move through it. If they're dating someone else, that's got to change. That can't be the final outcome, can it? Because you're manifesting something that's going to change that or is in contrast to that. So that's what that is for you. It's contrast. Let it be that, and that's okay. Contrast exists for a reason. It shows us something and allows us to focus on what we'd like to experience instead of what we don't want to experience. It's a beautiful thing, the way this whole universe works. Hopefully this helps. Appreciate you guys joining me. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And click the little bell icon, all that good stuff. Like and share, and all those great things are amazingly helpful to me. I appreciate it all. And thank you, and we will follow up with more great shows. If you guys have show ideas too, throw those in the comments or email me. All that is always good. And I've got my little notepad. Believe me, this thing goes with me everywhere. Even when I travel, I take it with me, or I make sure I've got one when I get there. And I constantly fill it out. Whenever odd things pop into my head, boom, you write it down because otherwise you're probably not going to remember it. For a lot of you guys, I recommend this if you're doing any sort of creative endeavors. Have something you can write things down with. If you're worried about capturing your dreams, same concept. Put a pad of paper next to your bed. Write them down when you wake up in the middle of the night from that dream, because if you wait 3 seconds, you will forget it. If you start writing it immediately, you'll trip out on some of the crazy things you do. So this is something I learned, by the way, in my stand-up class when I was doing that. You carry around a book with you all the time. Anytime any sort of funny thing pops into your head, you write it down and you create a bit out of it and you start building it that way. So this is the same concept, and really all of this stuff. Whenever you're doing anything creative, it's a great idea to have that outlet where you can just write it down and keep it with you, and it helps tremendously. Thank you all. We'll do more shows. I look forward to each and every one of them. Thank you so much.